All right, so I'm heading to work where I work as a full-time art director, and this is my vloggins. Welcome. This weekend was crazy. So yesterday, it wasn't actually yesterday, it was like the night before yesterday, and then yesterday morning at like the wee hours of the morning. It was like 12:30 a.m. and for about 6 hours, I had this pressure that was like poking on my like lung, and so it was really hard to breathe, and it lasted for like 4 hours. So we ended up going, my wife took me to the emergency room. We got checked out. I got like painkiller prescribed and x-rays and stuff like that, and like nothing was wrong. No obstruction or anything like that. So I might need a follow-up. But it was really weird, and it just like kind of eased like midway through yesterday, and it actually kicked on during a live stream. So if you guys are curious to kind of see, it's like it just kind of out of nowhere was like a gut punch to the side, and you know, it kind of sucked. Like, I hate going to emergency rooms, I hate going to hospitals because it's always a bill. And in this case, it was definitely a bill, you know, to do the emergency room. It's like a couple $100 just out of pocket. But luckily, nothing serious was wrong. That's good. The pain was pretty incredible, but like I'm feeling better and I'm feeling more like myself. And I'm excited about hopefully knocking out the rest of page 20 today. It's really crunch time on my book, and so I really need to get that done, preferably like tonight, and preferably at a reasonable time. So yeah, so that's going on. Let's see what else is going on. There's a dead stop. That's pretty exciting. Dead stop in traffic. But yeah, other than that, like it's just been it's been a pretty good weekend outside of that happening. That just kind of put a damper on the whole weekend and the plans and my workflow. So I'm glad to, as I've talked about multiple times on this, I'm really blessed to have like a functional body, and that's just a really good reminder of it, where man, you know, when you experience like severe pain, it's really hard to work. And it, again, like I've mentioned my friend Corey on here multiple times, but props to you, man, because I had like one day where I was having trouble breathing and it was rough. I can't imagine going through like half a year with that kind of pain and trying to work, especially because when you can't use like both your lungs, you know, you can't breathe super deep. Like there was a certain level of breath that if I took in a deep breath, it would just like hurt. So I had to do all these shallow breaths, and then when you're having to do shallow breathing, it's like you get exhausted because your body's not getting enough oxygen. It's crazy. So anyhow, just that little taste of that pain was enough for me to realize like a very small portion of what Corey must have been feeling for like a year, and just makes me very thankful that I've been blessed to have like a functional body for the year, and that could be taken away, and so I really need to take advantage and enjoy it while I can. So I'm heading to work, and I'm really like trying to think of like not death but love and all the things I need to do in order to finish this book. And I really need to plow on these pages. So tonight, my hope is to get home, knock out some pages, and hopefully, like, you know, we'll have to see how successful that is. But some other stuff on my mind is basically just the idea that like being in the emergency room, you see a lot of people come through and hear a lot of tragedy as it's actually happening. There was a woman just screaming in pain in another room. and the pain just was clearly not being alleviated for her, and probably because she was going through something super painful. There were like newborns being brought in that were in pain and suffering, and here I was with my like one day where my whatever the heck that was going on, and I'm supposed to get like a follow-up checkup or something, which I'll try to remember to schedule. But yeah, there's like suffering and there's things happening every night at like hospitals and emergency rooms all over the country, all over the world. There's wars, there's all sorts of terror happening in the world, and I think it's easy for us to forget that. Like, it's easy for me to forget that. I keep saying us, and I should focus more on my own personal story. It's easy to kind of forget that, like, we are really fortunate and lucky to be able to kind of work on art and be able to do these things, and that there's a world out there of suffering that is hard to imagine, and yet it's right at our doorstep, like in every community. And it's something to kind of remember as well. And also, as an artist, just remember that you can provide art that can help people get through stuff like that. And so, like, that's something I should use as motivation to kind of get this book done. You know, I don't want it to sound crass, like I'm using sad events or anything like that for my own gain, but I mean it more in the sense of like having perspective on the world and the blessings that have been given to us really can help. I'm not sure how Jacobs is doing. I don't know the numbers. This is always the tough part about dealing with publishers, and this isn't a criticism of my publisher, because Graphic Mundi has been an incredible publisher, but I have no idea what the sales numbers are like right now for that release. I know that I have a signing coming up on Saturday, and it's from 1 to 5 p.m. And then afterwards, if there's, you know, people who are interested, I'd like to go to Bravery Brewing. I think they're having some kind of 4th of July weekend type thing, so it might be kind of raucous and crazy there. But still, I think it would be fun. And then I'm excited about the weekend, because we have a 3-day weekend coming up, and so that to me is time to potentially work on comics, and get a little further on the book. But yeah, it is interesting having this looming deadline, and just starting to do the math and realize like how much I have left to do of the book. And so my hope is like July, I really need to make some mass progress on my book. And that just is gonna have to happen. So I'm hoping that tonight I can finish page 20. That's my goal, is to do I got a good chunk of the pencils done yesterday, which was a lot easier done because of the fact that like the breathing stuff calmed down a bit. So I was able to like breathe without my lung killing me. Whatever that was, it was like this weird pressure on my right side. And maybe some of that's just part of aging. I know that was mentioned when I was doing my live stream, where people are just like, yeah, that just happens as you get older. You just get hit with these strange pains. Which is fun and something to look forward to, I guess. But yeah, so I need to really make some progress on this book if I'm going to hit the deadline. And I'm on page 20 of 230, so that leaves about 210 to 211 pages that I have to do by April, and that's not that far away. So I need to severely be, I don't know if severe is the right word, but sincerely be like plugging away and hitting that hard I think that it's possible. One nice thing about this page that I'm working on tonight is it's like a giant panel, just one big splash page. And so it should be feasible to get done tonight. And so if I can, I'd like to do that as a live stream too. I've been enjoying the live streams. We had a really fun one. There were 2 live streams that I did yesterday. The first was hilarious, or maybe it wasn't yesterday, it was probably the day before, but the first was hilarious, where we were talking about karaoke and everybody's karaoke preferences. And I even got some super chats in order to get me to sing some karaoke songs. It was very silly and fun. But at the end of the day, like, I'm also really encouraged by this book. I know this is weird, but it's like I feel like I'm on to something with the style. It's weird, but it might be one of the better things that I've illustrated in a long time, and I don't want to lose that quality for a deadline. But I also am recognizing, just as it gets closer and closer to the deadline, that I really do need to I really need to start cranking. So it's an interesting thing having a looming deadline on a very ambitious project, but it's like, you know, I'm 4 months into it and I'm only 20 pages done, and that's not good enough. That's about 5 pages a month, which is about a page a week. So I need to probably at minimum double that in order to kind of make deadline. And so that means that this week I really need to view it as like I need to have 2 or 3 pages done this week. That would be the ideal. And if I don't have 2 or 3 pages, I definitely need to knock out quite a few on the weekend as well. So that's kind of where I'm at, is like kind of starting to do the math a little bit on what I need to get done on my book. Meanwhile, I need to promote the current book out, Jacob's Apartment, because I want that to succeed and sell, and try to keep myself sane during the process, because it is very easy, I think, when dealing with crazy deadlines, both at work and at home, to kind of let that overwhelm. We've definitely hit some strange dead traffic, and so I'm probably gonna have to let my work know that I'm stuck in dead stop on the 14. And but overall, that's kind of where I'm at. Nothing huge on the vlog aside from that, and thinking about comics, thinking about it has been a theme this month to be thinking about mortality and books, and even to have a moment where I experienced my own body's limitations, I think reinforces that that's probably something I'm supposed to be thinking about right now. Is like just taking stock of what I've been given, and the opportunities I've been given, and really asking like what I'm doing with that time. But it doesn't look like there's a strange accident ahead, so I'm gonna let you guys go. And it's probably just gonna be a short little vlog today. But I hope to tonight get further progress on my comic, and maybe even do a live stream late in the night, and as I color it. Because right now I have most of the line art done on the page, and then I'm doing this crazy background. It's a scene with Elizabeth Barrett Browning and Robert Browning getting married in a church, and the church they got married in has this like very ornate painting above it, and sort of an archway, and I need to draw that, get all the detail work done on that in the background. So I need to complete the background, and then I need to do the rendering, and then I hopefully we'll be able to do like a quick live stream as we color it. Yeah, so we'll see how that all turns out. I'm pretty excited about the book so far, and it does feel good to be at this point because I do think we're gonna have some new environments. The downside of the new environments is it's gonna take a lot of research, but all these things take research, and I can't wait till I get to introduce some fairly new characters that are going to repeat throughout the story and kind of bring a more tense, like interesting plot to bear. But so far, I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying the way it's coming out, and I guess we will have to see if I can kind of maintain momentum and also increase my productivity. Because in order to hit this deadline, I definitely am going to have to be able to churn out pages quite a bit quicker. And the thing that sucks is yesterday I was out sick, because by the time we got to the emergency room at like 1, I got discharged at like 5:30 or 6. And so by the time I was out, I was still feeling pretty terrible. The painkiller they had given me helped a little bit, but at the end of the day, I was in no shape to go to work that next day. But the downside is, you want those sick days as a cartoonist with a crazy deadline. You want those few and far between, and you want to be able to capitalize on them. I'm at home, I've got all this time. It's time to work on my comic. And I didn't get a ton more done than what I would have done, after work. Save for the fact that had I gone to work, I probably wouldn't have gotten anything done when I got back home because my health wasn't feeling so good. So health is better. There's nothing to be concerned about on that end if you're a viewer or anything like that. But it's just an interesting place to be where I'm trying to kind of see what all I have to get done, and the reality of the deadline and the somewhat impossibility of the whole thing is starting to loom. And so I also should say that that I really I equally need to really not panic, not freak out, to turn to my faith, to trust that God will make a way or a path for this to get done if it's meant to get done. And that, my wife brought this up a couple weeks ago or something because I was a little worried about the deadline. And she said, hey, God got us through graduate school. He helped me recover from being beaten in Long Beach and losing half of my portfolio. We've been through a lot, as a couple. And God has carried us through, and this is a drop in the bucket compared to what sort of impossible things God has enabled us to do. So that's basically what's on my mind. I know this is kind of a ramble, but that's it for today. And I'll see you guys on tonight's live stream, God willing. Let's just hope that my body functions. And yeah, that'll do it. All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see what's going on with this crazy traffic jam, and I hope all is well with you guys. I hope you guys are having a productive day, and I hope you're enjoying these vlogs. They're not always gonna be the most profound things, but at least they'll give you a window into kind of my life and what I'm working on, and the process and life of being a cartoonist. All right. I'll see you guys on the next vlogins or on the live stream tonight. Bye.